Personal finance and asset building can actually make or break you. How secure are you in the current geopolitical scenarios amongst the countries, especially when it comes to assets? Hi everyone, this is Vritvi Sawant and welcome back to Vritvi Talks, the Ambition podcast. Today, I have with me Mr. Karun Vij, a young entrepreneur who kind of built his real estate empire simply by taking a leap of faith into investing in real estate and that too at a very young age and then compounding and maximizing the core benefits of it. In the present times, he is building Simply Investing by Karun in the US and also inspires other young lads to start small and as early as possible so that everyone could have a great financially fulfilled life ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Karun Vij. Hi, Karun. Welcome to Vritvi Talks, the Ambition podcast.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
It's my pleasure to have you. And really sorry for the back and forth that we had to keep on going because of the time difference, I guess.
No worries at all. It's obviously hard to schedule on a global basis, but we made it work.
Yes. Okay. So, Karun, tell us something about how did you start into real estate investing? Because, this is something which not many young Indians or young Asians, or forget about, being an Indian or Asian or Canadian, but, most of the youngsters are not really willing to take risks at a younger age. So, what did interest you or what did attract you to this industry?
So that's a good question, and it's something that I think about a lot, and I try to help others get into the real estate game because it's changed my life, right? So, a few things that you touched on in terms of risk and why young kids don't want to do it. Well, I have a few opinions. When I first started, though, for me, the big thing was that real estate was no secret, right? Real estate, investing in real estate, multi-billionaires, millionaires, lots of people build serious wealth with real estate, right? There's no secret. It's an investment strategy that's, proven, it's out there. So, it's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
And when I was growing up in high school and, as a young kid, luckily, I was able to see the power of having diversified income streams, right? So not just relying on one job, right? I saw a lot of my friends, a lot of family members who lost their job in critical times. They lost their single source of income. And then that, puts a lot of pressure on the family life. And I did not want that to happen to me. And I learned early on the power of, or, the need to have multiple income streams to protect your life, right? And just keep you less stressed, right? So that was one big thing. And, for me, to create like some brand new business and investing in all these different companies like stocks and other things. With one thing with kids today, they're flooded with different sources of information.
Wow.
And everyone wants to get rich quick, right? Everyone wants instant success. Everyone wants to be an instant millionaire, billionaire. And that's because of the way that social media has kind of trained our brain, right? So I really feel, right? So I really feel that because of that, get the real estate is just boring. It's not sexy enough, right? So a lot of people think that it's too slow or they just don't understand the power of it and they don't know how to leverage real estate and leverage the bank to make you rich, right? I'm 33 years old and I'm, well off. Right? I'm not the best. There's people way, way more than me, of course, but I could say that I don't have to rely on my day job to live my lifestyle here in North America, right? So to summarize, I think, real estate is something that's very proven. It's not a get rich quick scheme type thing. You have to, work, you have to have the money, you have to work for it. It's a long-term play to build real generational wealth. And, young kids today, they really want to have this instant gratification or instant success and they avoid it or they don't think that it's nice enough or sexy enough and they're losing out on a huge opportunity, right? So
Yeah. But do you think all this has got to do with a lot of, what do you say, generational inheritance of fear? Like I was having this conversation with one of the financial advisors for HNIs in Dubai. So even she mentioned that yes, this can be one of the reasons why most of the people they are restricting themselves from taking risks. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a good, for sure. Like, there's nothing in this world that's perfect, right? If you want to get ahead, you have to take
Yeah.
risk. You have to do something outside of the box, outside of the norm, to take that one step, to get one step ahead, right? Otherwise, you will just continue like this. If you want to become like this, you have to create that step change. And the way to do that is by taking action. You have to create another income source. You have to invest the money that you have today. You have to invest the time that you have on certain things. That means sacrificing others, right? Because no one has unlimited time and no one has unlimited resources. But if you really
Mm.
want to change your life, you need to, and change the path of your life, you have to allocate the resources that you have available to you and invest it in ways that you might not feel comfortable. But that is what
Mm.
investing is. And that's what, that's how people make their money, right? It's a risk reward. If you take no risk, you're going to have no reward.
Yeah. I also happened to see one of your, I think, reels or maybe one of the interviews that you had given, where you speak, with a lot of impact about the power of compounding. So, would you like to highlight that part? Because right now, our viewers, our listeners are global. So, and power of compounding is something, or real estate investment is a topic which is being discussed on global platforms in all markets, in all countries, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, the basic concept of compounding in general is you put in a certain amount of dollars or time, and whatever you get back from that investment or that dividend, you reinvest, right? You
mm,
don't waste it, you don't spend it on certain other things. You double down, you keep investing the output of what you're
mm,
getting, putting it back into the business or what you're trying to learn or something. And what they'll do is they'll compound your gain, right?
mm,
So instead of, again, going on a linear path, if you continue to go and reinvest your dollars and reinvest the money that you're getting and the time that you're spending, you will be able to create a step change and change the progression and change the outcome of what you're trying to produce it and make it much faster.
yeah,
So, right, simply put, like when you're investing in a stock and it's producing a 5% dividend, you take that 5% dividend, you take that money and you reinvest it into the stock, and then that money is now going to produce a 5% dividend, right? So it keeps growing, it keeps compounding. So with real estate, it's no different, right? Like you buy this asset, you're producing a rental profit, you use that money to reinvest in the business, and that there's other aspects that positive impacts that you gain by doing that, and that's you get tax benefits. So if you
mm,
reinvest your things, you put it back in the business, you can reduce your overall tax. And at the same time, what I do, all the money that I get, the cash flow that I'm the profits, I try to reinvest in other assets, right? So
mhm,
not only am I buying am I just focusing on one asset or one real estate house, I'm taking the
mm,
money to buy another one and another one and another one, and that's going to help me scale and grow exponentially.
mm, mm. Correct. But there's also this rumor about you that maybe something just lucked out for you, that your growth was so exponential suddenly, right? Because it takes ages for people to build this kind of asset bank or this kind of generational wealth, right? So would you like to brush those rumors off, or you would like to address them, or because it's really interesting to know uh, journey of such a young person who has achieved so much in so less of time, or maybe it's just portrayed that way, that yes, it's overnight success, but it's not. It must have taken years, or whatever it is, that you might be the best person to tell.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great point. So, the way that media is, the way that every success
Yeah.
story is, you see the end game, right? The way that's what's nice. That's where you make the most,
Yeah.
where you get the most followers, or where the media gets the most excitement, right? They show the end game, they show the results, right?
Yeah.
So at 33, I own $7 million. That's my end game, right? And
Yeah.
that's what
That is
that's what's
selling.
put out.
Yes.
That's what sells, right? Oh my God, look at this guy. Well, guess what? It took me 10 years to make this point, to get me to this point, right? More than 10 years. I started, like I said, thinking about real estate when I was like 16 years old, right when I was in high school, because of the stories that I heard from, and saw other people, again, like failing in their job, or losing their job and, relying on that single source of income. was something that I saw early that I did not want to put myself through, right? I do not want to rely on my single job. That was it, right? I learned that very early when I was like 16. And then I really spent my time trying to make as much money as possible. I didn't spend money on the cars and going out and, clubs and I really tried to allocate the resources that I had available to me and compound my interest and compound my dividends and compound my gain, right? Not that I didn't have fun. I'm just saying I really did take a conscious decision to sacrifice a few things for the long-term success, right? Or long-term play. So work hard now, play later. That's really my philosophy. So I did a lot of that, right? So people they don't write about that. They don't talk about that. So, and I bought my first house. It took me a while, but I bought my first house at 26 years old, right? 26. So and it took me a while to get to that point, right? So I think that, I think there's a lot of ways that these stories get portrayed, but they don't show like the mindset, the work, the sacrifice that people put in, throughout the years, right?
Yeah. Well, very well addressed. I hope the PR machineries get their correct answer now.
Yeah, no, for sure. At the end of the day, it's all fun for me, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So, Karun, you are a Canadian Indian, or should I say Indian Canadian? Okay. But what do you think is the changing scenario right now for real estate investment, especially in Canada, pertaining to the ongoing, geopolitical issues that are happening between India and Canada? I'm not speaking global right now, but yes, there are global issues also in certain countries. They really do pretty well when it comes to real estate. Like, for example, Dubai, right? We will come to Dubai also later. But for now, my question is that how do you, perceive this particular part? That is it going to be difficult for young Indians to invest in Canada or the vice versa, or how is it?
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm actually releasing a video on this exact topic. If I was starting to invest in 2024, what would I do, right? How would things change? So it honestly, for me, nothing has changed, right? So like I know on the surface, we're in a weird environment where there's very high interest rates, prices are high. But guess what? That's the same situation that happened when I was started 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I was also at the high time, right? I was thinking, why would anyone buy this house at 300,000 or 400,000? Why would anyone buy this condo, 600 square foot condo for 350,000? I was freaking myself out. Like I was buying at the high time at that time. Right. So no matter what happens, like you're always going to be in some sort of cycle, right? And I think Warren Buffett and the big investors, they say time in the market is much better than timing the market, right? So I'm not here to try to make money and, try to take advantage of short-term, long-term dips and gains. I'm here to build long-term sustainable wealth. My plan is to buy assets as much as possible and hold them forever, right? Just hold them. Pay them off and, I'll make 20, 30, 40, $50,000 per month profit once the houses are paid off. So again, it's a short-term gain for a short-term sacrifice for a long-term return, right?
So basically, you're saying that these geopolitical issues are not at all harming the markets?
Not really. So, I mean, if we can go deep, right? Like, obviously, I know a lot of students, and the visa applications are becoming much harder now. There's been limit increases to the, $10,000 to $20,000 GICs. We can go as deep as you'd like, but on a high level, I think a lot of these changes are good, right? Like they're not like for that, just if we talk about that one piece, and I'm not trying to create uproar here, but honestly, things have changed in Canada. Things are more expensive. Like we are talking, we're in 2024. These rules have not been updated for over 15 to 20 years, right? The requirements in terms of I'm talking about very specifically where you need students need $10,000 in their bank account before. We need around 10,000 to get into Canada and come to, as a work permit. But look, that rule was set 15 years ago, right? So $10,000 is not the same today, right? Salaries have gone up, prices have gone up, people are making more money. So I think it's a positive. Like on the surface, it does sound like, it sucks. Maybe some people are going to be limited, and I feel sorry. I really do. Like it's a terrible situation for some people who don't have that money. But if you are going to come move countries for higher education, look, I'm pretty sure you need some, cash to survive, right? You can't be coming to Canada with no money. Otherwise, you're not going to survive, and it's going to be a terrible experience for you. And you're setting yourself up for a disaster, right? You're going to be
Yeah.
living in a very terrible house, not going to be able to succeed in education and do what you want to do. So I think the geopolitical tensions and all that stuff, like, is to me a little bit of noise. Like Canada needs immigrants. They need people
Yeah.
to come. They need people. And even with these new policy changes, yeah, on paper it says, oh, we're going to reduce our visas by 30-40%, but that's still a huge number, right? And that's like a
Yeah.
2-year cap. So, like to me, I'm not here
It's
to
just norm.
think about things on a yearly basis or 6-month basis, 1 or 2 years. I'm talking about long term, right? What does this mean for long term? What's the health? Canada needs immigrants. Smart people come from India. We're never going to stop accepting people from India. Let's be real. And
Yeah.
so I'm not worried about it, right? Getting here might be a little more difficult on a daily for some people. But in reality, if you don't have the money or you don't have the $10,000 to come, to Canada and actually live, it's going to be very difficult. So like you're going to be putting yourself in a terrible situation. So I think it's a balance of of good, bad, but
Of everything.
in the end, I think things work out.
Let's talk about global markets over here. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier also, like Dubai is the king in real estate, right? I mean, undoubtedly, right? So
Yeah.
what do you think is attracting a lot of investors to Dubai, and it's not happening the same with other countries, specifically when it comes to real estate?
Well, Dubai is absolutely trying to take over the world, right? Like they are doing everything they possibly can to attract people, right? And that is
Yeah.
what drives real estate, right? Like there's no quite like look what happened in China. Like the population decreased, the investment decreased from a foreign perspective, and house prices have crashed or crashing, right? It's a terrible situation. So Dubai is the opposite. They're doing everything in their power to attract people to come to the
Yeah.
country, work, and you'll make money, really good money, and that's going to naturally increase the real estate pricing and the demand, right? So for very smart investors, sure, like there's nothing wrong with that. Take advantage of that boom, right? But I
Yeah.
think again, for me, it goes back to buying something and holding forever and trying to invest where you feel that there's going to be stability, right? Very high stability, confidence. Where's the money really going? Is this kind of a short-term thing? Is this a long-term thing? Luckily, I'm in North America, so that's my market. I mean, for sure, you could definitely take advantage of the swings and global opportunity. Don't get me wrong, but it takes a lot of resources to do that, like to manage, for someone like me or someone like anyone on an individual basis, having $7-10 million of assets is good, right? Like I can do that anywhere I live. You can do that anywhere where you live, anywhere.
Right.
It doesn't have to be Dubai. But if you're very savvy and you have the infrastructure to make it happen and take advantage of these global opportunities and these growth cycles, by all means, I mean, it's a game changer, right? But so it all depends on what you're capable of, what you can support, and finding those areas for growth. And right now, absolutely, Dubai is doing everything they can to grow. So people are taking advantage of that.
Yeah, but then maybe they are doing something right, correct? That's why, people are from all over the world. Even I have had some European friends also who have shifted to Dubai, right? So
Same
obviously
here.
they might be
Lots
doing
of people I
something
know.
correct. Yes. And what, so
100%.
what is that one thing which they are doing correct according to you? And what other countries, like specifically countries like America, like Canada, Indian real estate is also growing, not at the speed of Dubai. It's not matching there, but yes, it is also growing step by step. Because in India, we have like a lot of agricultural land, and a lot of like foreign companies are coming up and setting up their manufacturing units over here and stuff like that, right? So that part of real estate is, yes, still picking up the pace. But yes, what according to you is what Dubai is doing correct and what other countries are losing out on?
Well, I mean, I don't go deep into the data, but I know like on the surface for sure, Dubai is doing everything right. They're the way that they're portraying the country,
Yes.
the growth opportunity, the way that they're showing how anybody can come and make a living, right? Make a real
Yeah.
living and have a higher quality of life. Like that's what
Yeah.
Dubai, when anyone thinks about Dubai now, it's like amazing, right? Rich
Yeah.
lifestyle. You come in, people are happy. I just had a friend, like multiple friends in America. They're American couple, right? Like white couple, and they went to Dubai, and they were shocked that they could see the amount of, like, let's say the culture in Dubai might be a little, some of it's where you can't drink, women are a little, clothed differently and stuff like that. I'm talking about her perspective, right?
Yeah.
So on one hand, you have like more of like the extreme, like where people just don't drink, they don't, they're really religious in a sense. And then right beside them, right beside the same spot, you have like people who are dressing completely different. They're drinking, all that stuff. They're living their life, and that's completely okay. And that's something that Dubai's done very well. They're making a
Yeah.
very cultural place to live, right? That stigma of not being able to, the middle, Dubai and the places are not
Yeah.
modern, gone, right? Like that's completely gone. So I think they're doing a great job, like attracting all people from all different cultures, all
Yeah.
different, right from the American, right to religious type, cultures. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're just attracting all walks of life to come to the country, and that's what they're doing right.
Yeah. I think I agree with you on this point, and a lot of our viewers and listeners will also agree on this part that yes, they are doing very well in portraying themselves as a lifestyle trendsetter for that matter, or a thought
That's
leader.
right, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Like they bought the PGA Tour from, like, this is something that America, like, this is shocking, right? The fact that they were able to buy the golf tour from America, like they own it now. Like it's that's unbelievable. That's like they're just doing everything they can, everything for like sports and soccer and football. Like they are making moves, right, to get
yeah.
people to come on in all aspects of the world, from all areas of the world to come. And yeah, so it's amazing what they're doing. Really, it's awesome. It's crazy.
Correct. Say suppose recession hits tomorrow, which is kind of predicted for 2024. What do you think, or what is your suggestion for investment?
Well, how many times have we heard the term recession in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, right? It's not, it's so far the Fed and the government has done, I'm talking about North America in
Yeah.
general. They've done a pretty good job, keeping things, afloat, right? But
Mhm.
look, I'll tell you this, as people are fearful and people are not buying, I buy, right? I
Yeah.
totally take the, other people are fearful, that is your time to come in and deploy, right? Deploy your capital. And that's what I
Yeah.
did, right? It just recently, literally this month, I'm closing on two houses, two duplexes that I bought, to me, on a discount, that to like are not changed. Like the value of the house has not changed. It's produced the same rent. The my cash flow is exactly the same as it was a year ago,
Mhm.
2 years ago. The price of the house is now $75,000 each, kind of discounted to where they were before. I picked them up. I'm not worried about the interest rates today, because I know in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be a completely different scenario.
Mhm.
And not betting on the short term. I'm not looking for the short term gains and the losses, right? I'm looking for,
Yeah.
again, long term. I buy assets that can support themselves in any environment, right? So today, if I find an asset that can support itself from a cash flow perspective, I buy it. That's it.
Mhm.
It's done. There's no emotion to it. There's no fear to it, because I'm going to hold this asset for as long as I can, pay it off, and one day it's going to produce. The full rent coming in is going to be complete profit, because everything will be paid off, right?
Yeah. So you're basically saying, or maybe indirectly advising people to place bet on fear.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that you're comfortable with, but yes, like when people
Yeah.
are fearful, this is the time to strike, right? Like, and when people are greedy, this is the time to sell. Buy high,
Yeah.
buy low, sell high, right? And this is
Yeah.
what Warren Buffett says. This is what our the billionaires of the world, they live by,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
true. Like, right now is the time that the competition for housing is at it's low. No one is doing multiple offers. So I came in
Right.
on my house I just bought which I'm telling you, 6 months ago or a year ago, there'd be multiple offers on it, right? You'd go in, there'll be 10 other people lined up to try to buy the same house. Today, houses are on the market for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days. They're not selling because people are fearful. Don't know what's going to happen. They're waiting. Well, guess what? That gives opportunity, like for people like me who have money on the side to come in and give a firm offer. Look, I'll buy this place from you on this discount, firm, like cash. Here you go, kind of thing, right? And that's what I'm taking advantage of. So
got the chord right. Yeah.
So don't be fearful. I think things, look at the world, look at, learn from your seniors, learn from your grandparents. Like they've gone through everything. They've gone through everything, right? They've gone through more than us, right? They've gone through the cycles, the peaks, the valleys, all of it. And they're still here. They're surviving. They're here. They're thriving, right? So I feel like that's the same for us. We just put too much emphasis on what's happening today, the noise.
Over-analysis. Yes.
Over-analysis, analysis paralysis, for sure, right? And you're just losing opportunity if you just don't take that action, right? Just don't limit yourself and don't feel. One thing I would say, like when you feel fear, right? For me, when I feel fear and I feel uncomfortable, to me, that means I'm learning. I'm taking a step to change my life, right? And that is scary. That is scary. Doing something.
Yes.
Oh, I do live by that, and now real estate to me is, my strategy in real estate is very simple to me, and now I'm moving to the next step, which is like construction. I'm building my own projects, and that's scary for me. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna build something from the bottom up, and I'm scared. I'm like, well, it's okay. This is the next level. I gotta try it. What happens that moves me to the next level, right? So
yeah. Okay. Talking about placing your bets on fear, right? So, yes, we were speaking about risk taking as well when we started the episode, right? But what do you think is the whole investing game about? Not just real estate investment, but any sort of investment. Does it come from a place of FOMO, or is it just like pure trusting your gut with acute study? Because a lot of people, they just go by the gut. It's not even, their intuition, or it's not even their gut. It's just that because everyone is doing, or someone must have told them, so they are like taking the bet on them, believing on their beliefs. So what is your take on this entire thing?
Yeah, I think investing. So in essence, right, for me, the way that I treat investing and what's changed my life is the perspective of the decisions that you make today. You're going to see it not today or not tomorrow. You're going to see the impact of it 5 years from now. The life that you live 5 years from now are going to be based on the decisions you make today, right? And that's what investing to me is, right? Trying to make the best decision with the data that you have available to you today and the information that you have to make, use that data, use that information to the best of your ability to make an optimized decision that will change your life. You will see that change your life in 5 years, 10 years from now, right? That's what investing to me is. So it's not about FOMO. It's not about overanalyzing. It's taking the resources, the opportunity that you have today. There's probably opportunities much better than real estate. There probably are. There probably is, right? Like maybe there's a business idea, or I have friends, I know family that have empires, 500 million, $1 billion, right? There's one of my cousins worth $700 million, and it's not. He's the founder of a huge company. Like it's big. But I'm taking the opportunity that I have, right? I'm taking the information that I have, what's available to me today, and I'm optimizing, right, what I have. So that's what investing to me is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But was there any such incident in your past where you actually invested out of fear or out of FOMO?
I try not to, right? I try not to make a decision based on fear of missing out, or, I did I can say I did a little with Bitcoin and some, little bit of stocks here and there just to see, right? But I did not invest my life savings. I did not invest my, portfolio at all, right? This is the fun money that I had, but, just to see what would happen. But that's that's not what investing is, right? Like in your real life, if you really want to make a change and you want to do something for yourself, you have to be able to take the emotion out of it. You have to, right? Otherwise, you're just going to make an impulsive decision and based on nothing, right? Just based
Yeah.
on absolutely nothing. So if you can find a way to analyze your options available to you in a very subjective way without, trying to take away the emotion as much as possible, putting in some sort of process or having, analyzing the rental profits and all
Yeah.
the revenue available, doing the best that you possibly can to take away the emotion, let the math speak for itself, and you can qualify and quantify the opportunity at hand. If you can do that properly, and you've done your due diligence, you can't predict the future. At the end of the day, something
Yeah.
it could fail. Things could blow up and things could fail, but so I try to take that approach, right? Take the emotion
Mm.
out of it, be as subjective as possible. And that's what I do. That's why I don't let the news and the recession fears,
Yeah.
impact me. I have a
Okay.
process in place? I find a
Yeah.
place, I have the exact amount of dollars I'm going to put in. I have the formulas that I literally put into my file, put all the numbers in. Green is a yes, red is a no, right? And that's it. I don't even look at it again. Simple.
Okay. Point very well put across, but I must say.
Thanks.
So, if tomorrow you're given a chance, or if there's any such circumstances that you have to move back to India, right? How will it affect your investing game? Or would you like to advise something to someone in a similar situation who has to move back to his or her own country while they have some smaller investments in Canada or in any other foreign country?
Well, so just to be clear, I'm born in Canada, so I never lived in India, so I don't have that experience. But for me, I moved from Canada to the States, right? So that's what I did. So I moved from Canada to the States, and all my investments are still in Canada.
Mm.
I didn't sell them. I still
Value
manage
them.
them,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
them. I keep them going. And if you're in that situation where you have to move due to some, in my case, I was moving
Yeah.
because of more opportunity, right? So it was a benefit to my life, and I was able to continue doing what I do and
Yeah.
did nothing. I didn't have to do. I didn't have to sacrifice anything. It's really the
Yeah.
move helped accelerate, right? So if someone else had to, move back or something happened, you gotta again, you try to take the emotion out, look at the numbers, look at the situation at hand, and try to make the best decision possible with the information that you have today, right? Can you manage the properties when you move to the countries? Yes, you can. You can absolutely do that. You can get a property
Yeah.
manager. How does that impact your profit? How does that impact your lifestyle? Are you willing to take that risk, or is there something do you need that money? The investments, do you need that money to support something or support the change that you're doing? Going back to your country and you need to do something. Okay, then maybe you have to sell, right? It's part of life. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think just go back to taking the situation at hand. Try to take the emotion out of it, and it's not about just owning the real estate. Like that's not like my goal isn't just to be like, I have to own real estate and I have to hold forever and I'm successful. It's not like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
the strategy is there, right? That's my strategy.
Because
If I see a
what happens is, no, I'll tell you what happens is a lot of people associate uh, holding or owning a real estate property
Mhm.
to being called rich or being called
Sure.
successful. I don't know about the other countries, at least in India, it is still like this, right? Like, oh, if that person so and so has so and so square feet,
Yeah, yeah,
property, so
yeah.
yeah, that person is
Totally.
rich. Yeah. So,
100%.
this kind of perception also kind of puts pressure on people, when it comes to property management, and specifically in a situation like this where they have to move countries, like, because we saw a lot of cases like these during COVID, right? Like COVID was bad. We don't know if something like COVID or something like recession or maybe some XYZ situation might arise, right? So that is what I'm trying to address over here through you, because you are the expert in that industry. So, your advice can actually help these people to at least, give it a thought, at least something.
So I'll tell you this: I own multiple properties, right? I own them. I manage them. I'm the landlord, but I don't have a house myself. I rent myself, right?
Okay.
So And that's, yeah, it's hilarious. I know people are like, well, how does that? Why are you paying someone else's mortgage? Well,
Yeah.
because I know for a fact how difficult it is to be a homeowner, right? So, because I'm the landlord, I get all the issues. I pay for all the
Yeah.
issues. So, my perspective right now, like, yeah, I get your point. I totally understand that the normal, stereotype or the stigma is that you have to buy a house or you're not successful. Go live in the suburbs with a
Yeah.
family and buy land. And I totally understand that, but again, time and place for everything. I don't let the emotion. I try to block out all the emotion possible.
Yeah.
And I'm a renter. I rent myself, and I'm a landlord, right? And that's because I know at this moment in my life today, I'm not ready to commit to buying a brand like a house for myself. I have a wife. I have a newborn baby. I know things can go wrong in a house because I pay for it for my tenants. I know what could happen. The roof could break. The appliances could break. The plumbing could happen. There's a million things that happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're an owner of this house, it's on me. I don't have anyone to call, right? So I'm the like so for right now I'm renting. If I have an issue in my house, I call up the landlord and I say, hey, I have an issue with my house, fix it, right? And that's it.
Yeah.
So again, I totally understand the stigma. I'm making these moves again, trying to optimize the decisions from a financial perspective. On one hand, on one day, it will make sense for me to buy a house because I'm going to need a bigger place. I'll have more kids or whatever, and to go rent something that I need to support my
Yeah.
life might be too much, and that's where I want to. That's where I'll pivot to buying a property. So
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that owning a home is a dream for sure, but don't let it be. It's not the only dream, right? You got to define what makes you happy in your life, and use the power, use the data that you have available to you to optimize your path, right? Path to happiness. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, one last question. What is actually ambition to you? Or what is that sense of achievement for you?
wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What is ambition to me? So, it's a really good question. It's something I think about all the time. There is when you have multiple properties and businesses, and like you're you have channels and you're out there and you're
Yeah.
doing things.
Yeah.
I have the same thing, right? I have my houses, I have my work, I have my construction projects, I have my social media that I'm working on. I have consulting, right? I have a whole bunch of things happening. I have a newborn,
Yeah.
and sometimes I wonder, like, why am I doing all this? Like, what am I doing, right? Let me just sell everything, go move to somewhere else, go move to Mexico or something, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've learned that the the more that you make or perceive to make, the more that you have, in a sense, that kind of, it's your lifestyle goes up, right? So I could be very happy. I could have been very happy in a 1 bedroom kind of condo or whatever, and live totally
Yeah.
fine. That's not what I want, right? I like spending money on nice things. I like having good options to me. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's in my brain, right? I want to live life to the best that I can, right? And so the money and the diversified income you go from here. Now your lifestyle's here, and guess what? You're gonna need this. You're gonna need that money to support the lifestyle here. And now this is your
Yeah.
new normal. Now you want the next step, right? Because now everything's kind of
Yeah.
like, wait, I want to do more. I want this next level. So I think it's gonna be endless. It really is. But that mindset's endless. But going back to your question, like I think ambitious, and the definition of being ambitious to me is being able to. I go back to what I wanted. I don't want to rely on any single source of income. I don't want to work for someone to support my lifestyle. That's what I don't want that. I want to be able to control my life. I want to control the time I spend, right? I want to be able to spend the time I want when I want with my family, my friends, traveling without any concern that things might go bad, right? If I spend
Yeah.
that time, that's what I want. And that's what drives my ambition.
That's lovely. I always make sure to ask this one question to every guest, whoever comes as a guest
That's
on my
good. Good
podcast.
question.
And I get to know like all diversified answers because ambition to
Yeah.
me might be very different from what ambition means to you. So,
How do you define it?
Oh, well, for me, ambition is being just happy and comfortable in my own space and doing, yeah, exactly like how you also mentioned, like, yes, doing whatever I want to do and not being worrying about, like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happened? What if tomorrow we run short of money? What if tomorrow this doesn't work out and all, you know? I don't want to be in that space. So,
Yeah.
yeah, ambition to me is that.
Nice, nice. That's good. I like that. The happiness, it's true. It's about living happily. And again, it does come within, right? Happiness is, I've learned, I really have. Like, you don't need material things to be happy. And it's easy to say when you have some things. And again, I'm not some multi-billionaire, right?
Yeah,
And I, but like, it really does come within. So, but I think the key is the freedom, is the time, right? One thing
yeah,
that you're never going to get back is time, ever. So,
right.
if you are, for me, I had jobs when I had to work 9 to 5, 9 to 8 p.m. I spent majority of my time at work back
Yeah,
in the day. That's what I did. And that's, to me, that's not the life that I want to live. I mean, that's what I'm trying to be able to
yeah.
spend as much time as possible on the things that I love, right? And that's what feeds the ambition.
Thank you so much, Karun, for your wonderful time. And this conversation was truly wonderful. And I hope our listeners or viewers also found it very valuable because I found it valuable. And I hope you also enjoyed each and every bit of it.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. Your questions were great. It was a wonderful time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, wait, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Subscribe now